I can't see myself right now, but I know I look perfect. Fat vanity, baby. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? It is your favorite fat girl, Saucye West, and welcome back to your favorite podcast. Ayo, Fat Girl. Ayo, Fat Girl is a podcast made by a fatty for a fat community. I'm here to spark conversation, incite change, and make people a little uncomfortable. And remember, even when I'm reading you, it's always led with love. I hope that you all checked out the bonus episode that I dropped this week. I did a little bit of a catch up with you guys. Let y'all know while I've been gone for so long, because it has been a long time. And I just want to reiterate that this podcast is so important to me. It is a part of my journey. It's a part of my life's work, and it means everything to me to be able to be in community with you all, even when we're not in person. So hopefully you guys check that episode out. If you haven't, go ahead and do that. But for right now, we're going to get into it because we got some stuff going on. We got a few little things to talk about, okay? So we are going to get into it. Let's go. Let's get into fat topics, y'all.
You a chicken McNugget, and I'm a Big Mac. And I don't really see what else needs to be said besides that.
All right, y'all. So the first thing we're going to talk about is an interview that Tess Holliday did with People magazine. And the topic is that plus size models aren't being hired anymore. And Tess says that a reason for that is because the popularity that has come from GLP-1s, semaglutides, all of those things. Wegovy, Ozempic, and the fact that our favorite influencers and models have opted out into being smaller and not being a part of community anymore. And I agree with that. I agree because I just remember years and years and years and years ago, I always reference this article. I wish I would have kept the article. I wish there was a such thing as me knowing how, let me screenshot this. I don't even think that was going on back then, but there was an article done. And the person was an insider in plus size fashion. And that person basically said that fat people don't want to be fat, right? And that's the reason why that this industry will not be as visible and inclusive to people who are in larger bodies, because people don't want to aspire to look like somebody like me. They want to be smaller. And I feel like that is the other conversation that needs to happen, right? And it's very multi-layered. So, but I'm gonna try to stay on track with what Tess was talking about. So, like I said, she says that GLP-1s have contributed to the decline of plus size models being used for runway shows and for ad campaigns for brands. She says, I think that collectively our society has moved to a place where thinness is in and body positivity and curvy is no longer popular for a lot of brands. And my take on that is that body positivity is and always has been that body positivity was a socially acceptable way of presenting fatness, right? And that the term and the community only accepted you if they felt positive about your body. And I've said that before, which essentially excluded people who were on the more marginalized side of the fatness spectrum. So we all know that the body positivity, I'm going to call it a trend, came about in the 2010s, and that's when we seen this wave happen. We seen that there were a lot of people who were in this industry that were looking like, your average girl next door. But the caveat to that is that they were still a certain body type that was a plus size body type, but that was still an acceptable body type, right? And anyone else who pushed that envelope, who was bigger than that, that's when the body positivity came into question. Now, me on the more marginalized side of the end, as I always have been, I seen that there was a difference. And when I spoke about those differences, then I was seen as bitter, right? Okay. So GLP-1s gave the body positive community the out that it always wanted. I feel like the good fatty persona wasn't good enough. And these drugs are giving them the visual satisfaction they always wanted. The dream of fitting in became something real. And I have seen influencers say they just wanted to be able to have more clothing options as one of the main reasons why they wanted to lose weight, as well as the old healthy narrative, right? And again, this ties into everything that's going on here. It's like the reason why the fashion industry doesn't want to kind of take us seriously when it comes to this whole inclusion thing is because they feel like we don't even want to be in these bodies anymore. And the first opportunity that we got to shrink ourselves, we took it. The first thing that said, hey, look at these results, and you're going to get them fast, right? You're going to get them fast, even though they may make you sick, even though they may have these side effects, but you're going to get smaller. Which again, this is what you essentially want. Like, you don't see a lot of people saying, hey, I like my body. I like being in this body. I'm okay with being in this body. Of course, when you are in activism world, you do hear that. You do see the pride, and you see the people being unapologetic about being fat. But there's the other side of this. And that is the people who are like, you know what? If I had a choice, if somebody gave me the opportunity, I'm taking it. And again, we talk about body autonomy all the time in these conversations. We're like, you should be able to do what you want to do with your body. Correct. Right? But when you get to that fork in the road and you're like, am I going to go this direction because I have shrunk myself? Because society is now deeming me acceptable? Because I can fit in, and because they gave me a seat at the table, am I going to forget about the community that helped me get to where I was and where I am, and not be an ally and not, make sure that I take care of the people who took care of me? And then there's another, you go further down that road, and it's like, and then I'm going to health shame you. And then I'm going to health shame myself. And then I'm going to just be nasty, rude, and ignorant, right? Or you're going to say, you know what? This is my journey. I did this for me. I don't need to explain anything to anybody. Even when people ask me questions, I'm not saying anything. This is for me. I don't have to explain anything to you. Okay? I am still an advocate for people who are more marginalized than me. I'm still going to fight for people who are more marginalized than me. Even though I made this change for myself. You see how easier that road is? Right? No one's saying anything negative. We have those two roads. I have not seen one influencer take that road yet. Not one. Not one. I'm sorry. There's always somebody that's saying, I did this because of my health. You should do it too. I did this because, and even if they don't say you should do it too, it's still that unspokenness. Like, I did it and I feel better. Maybe you should too. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I personally have never seen a proper representation in fashion for fat bodies. It was always the same figures. Super fats and infinity fats were rarely used, and we still aren't getting hired by brands that carry their entire size range. Again, I am on this podcast and I am talking from a perspective from someone who is marginalized, super fat, Black woman who has been in this industry for over a decade. I started at the same time that my peers started, Tess and all. We all started this at the same time in some way, shape, or form on social media. We seen each other. And I seen my peers who did not look like me skyrocket. And because I chose a different road, and I will never regret that road. I will never regret bringing activism, fat activism, into fashion. I will never regret describing myself as fat when it came to this industry, even though people told me not to. I will never regret the decisions that I made. No, I'm not at, hundreds of thousands of followers, and I don't have all these brand deals, but I feel comfortable with my decision, and I'm happy, and I can sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? From my vantage point, I never seen. It was the few brands that used actual 5X and 6X models. Few. But I seen the same bodies throughout this whole process. And we're okay with that, right? We're okay with seeing these same bodies represented. And we are like, yeah, this is so inclusive, but it isn't. It's not inclusive. It's not. So then we have people say, well, you guys just sound like you're just being bitter. Really? I'm bitter because I'm calling shit out the way it's supposed to be. You're calling me bitter because you're at the table. When we all were not at the table at first, but they let you in. Why? Just saying. My brand from the beginning was built on being this like liaison between fat activism and plus size fashion, because these two worlds were parallel, but they never intersected. And I have these conversations all the time with my mentor Tigress, and we always say, just because somebody talks about plus size fashion doesn't mean that they're talking about activism. But then that's where I come in at. I'm here to have the uncomfortable conversations when it comes to the two, because yes, they are parallel and they should intersect. Because if they did intersect, we would not still be having these conversations. Right? I want to see the day where these up and coming plus size influencers bring fat activism in the conversation more and not be afraid. but that will only come with true acceptance of your fat body. Unfortunately, the magic wand is tempting to use when the world is constantly telling you that your body isn't worthy. I need y'all to understand what I just said. I want to see the day where these up and coming plus size influencers bring fat activism in the conversation and not be afraid. I want all of you little young kittens out there to understand that you are here because there was a foundation built for you. I want these designers to know that you are here because there was a foundation built for you. It just didn't pop up out of thin air in 2010. Okay? There was a foundation built for you. So start bringing that into your conversations when you're talking about size inclusion. Start bringing that into the conversation when you're asking yourself, well, why don't I see more fat bodies on the runway, in Fashion Week, in brand ads? It's because we're not talking about the important conversations anymore. We're not making people uncomfortable. We're saying to ourselves, again, I have the magic wand. I can take this shot in my stomach and all my problems are going to go away. But are they? All right. So let's get into some other shit. All right. So we have somebody named Marie Efastratio. I don't know if I said her name right. I actually really don't care. She is the owner of a brand called Chimeria. And she got on her thin privilege pedestal and faced fatphobic backlash after telling customers to lose weight rather than stock plus sizes. You need to choose health and drop to a safe size. Safe size. Sometimes y'all know that's the deep Negro sigh. That's the deep Negro sigh. And this is the problem. This is the problem. So this is all we're all melting together. These fat topics, they're all going to melt together in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to piggyback off my own points from the last topic. And here's a straight size white woman knee deep in her privilege talking again. It's always somebody who is in their knee deep in their privilege talking. Like, the fuck? Like, what? Like, did we need you to talk? Or did you want to take up space in a conversation that has nothing to do with you? All right. So she says, my post is addressing brands not having to stock such extreme sizes. I don't believe that is fatphobic. All right, y'all. I'm about to give it to y'all straight down the middle. Let's stop using the term fatphobic. Let's stop using the term fatphobic. Because guess what? These people out here are taking it literally. And that's the rebuttal all the time. I'm not fatphobic. I'm not scared of fat people. I'm not fatphobic. I'm not scared of fat people. Okay, let's stop using that shit. Let's be very direct. Now, we're going to be very direct and say exactly what it is. Just absolutely say that you're being anti-fat and discriminatory, because that's what it is. I'm tired of people making excuses for just being hateful and othering people. Bitch, can we get clothing? I'm gonna dig into my sarcastic Gemini bag for y'all right now, okay? What the fuck does me needing a pair of pants and a shirt have to do with my health? Like what? Which is none of your business. Clothing is a human need, unfortunately. So you want fat people to be at home naked until we lose weight and can buy clothes? Do you see how dumb that sounds? Like I need y'all to see how dumb that sounds. I need y'all to recognize the dumb, the dumb when you hear the dumb, okay? And then she says, let me get back in my voice. Not all brands need to be inclusive. And if people have an issue with that, then the issue lies within themselves. And she's absolutely right. All brands don't have to be inclusive. We're not asking them to be. I wouldn't call it insecurity either, because that's what she says as well. But I am curious as to why you even had to speak on the topic. But guess what? We know why she spoke on the topic. You know why? Because she had a fan. Somebody who followed her. And this is not what I know from this article. She did not say this. But I know what happened. Somebody who probably, really likes her stuff came in her comments and said, wow, I wish that this was made in my size. I love this. This is so cute. I wish it was made in my size. And she got on her knee deep in her privilege and set her phone up on the tripod and said what she said. Okay? She did it. I promise you. She did it. So now we know, now the world knows that this isn't what she wants to do. And so we're not going to support that, right? We don't need to support her. She doesn't want our support. So let's one up on her. Let's get in that ass. All right. Let's get in that ass. Allies. Hey, allies. How about if y'all don't shop there with either? How about the people who she do make the clothes for? How about if y'all don't shop with her either? Let's let them pockets feel it. You know I'm all about letting somebody feel it in their pockets when they want to talk out the side of their necks. I encourage you not to support this trick. I called her a trick. That's what I wrote down. Let's start putting these privileged assholes out of business. Hey, skinny friends, please do not buy those whack-ass sweatpants. Support brands that actually care about people and that are inclusive. Use your power. Use your privilege. And that's all I'm going to give her today. So this is definitely for y'all. Allies. Hey, let's go. So, Vogue. So, Vogue Business put out their spring-summer 2026 size inclusivity report, right? And this is done by their team. They all go to the big four when it comes to runway, New York, Paris, London, Milan. And they get data from everyone who presents there and put out this report in regards to how inclusive these shows are, right? So, out of 9,038 looks presented across 198 shows and presentations, 97.1% were straight size. That is a U.S. size 0 to 4. 2% were mid-size, U.S. size 6 to 12. and 0.9% were plus size, US 14 plus. The results were only a slight improvement, less than 1% from last season, which showed some of the lowest size inclusivity figures we'd seen since launching this report. In comparison to last season, 97.7% of looks were straight size, 2% were mid size, and 0.3% were plus. In comparison to spring summer 2025, this season's plus size representation is roughly the same, while mid size representation has halved. So, I really, when it comes to mid size, I don't really care. And that's not me being mean. That's me saying, yes, these looks were not, full of mid-sized bodies, right? But mid-sized bodies have their representation in advertising, branding, right? Like we see mid-sized bodies all the time. We are inundated with mid-sized bodies because mid-size is average. And we see a lot of average size people in our marketing, in our branding, what we see on TV, what we see on social media, who the brands choose to be their influencers. So when it comes to mid-sized bodies, what they lack on the runway, they make up for in our everyday lives and what we see. Their visibility in our real life is not halved, right? When it comes to plus size bodies, 0.9%. And that is the entire of the big four, okay? Many showgoers voiced frustration over the lack of diversity on the runway. Writer, consultant, and content creator Brenda Weschler pointed out the size of models and talent on Instagram after Fashion Month came to a close. Scrolling through Vogue Runway has been depressing this season, especially in Paris, she tells Vogue Business. From everything that we talked about today, fashion, activism, right? This is why these two things cannot continue to be parallel and not intersect, because they all work together. It's the conversation, the bigger conversation that needs to be had in terms of inclusivity. Again, I'm not using the word fatphobic. I'm using the word anti-fat, and I'm using the term discriminatory. It is very blatant that these designers are not choosing to use plus size bodies in these presentations. It is very blatant that this sample size, because that's what the conversation is. It's like when we're preparing our presentations, we usually do the sample size. And it's so hard to create a sample size for a plus size person, especially because this is the excuse. This is the excuse they're giving. It's an article. A lot of the time, they are just thrusted. Models are just thrusted at designers, and they have to ensure that their sample sizes fit the model. Okay. So again, we're going to talk about care, right? We're going to talk about, do you really care? And the answer is no. Most of the time they don't care. They make the clothes. They don't want to put the time and care into it to even like there are certain designers who pre-select models who are plus size so they can create the look, the sample size for the model. And again, that takes time and care. But when it comes to runway models, it's this many. It's this many, right? Plus size runway models. And out of this bucket who you're going to get. So it doesn't take that much to create something for this many models, even if they're last minute thrusted your way. And this is coming from someone. I have worked with ateliers. I've worked with indie designers. I've worked with a lot of different types of people in this industry. Shout out to Bertha Pearl, an amazing just crafts person when it comes to fashion. And I know she creates her own patterns. She's been doing this for decades. So when it comes to these excuses, I just don't know. I don't know. As with previous seasons, Vogue Business has analyzed every runway show and presentation featured on Vogue Runway for the official New York, London, Milan, and Paris schedules to calculate the proportion of total looks that are straight, mid, and plus size. Brands were contacted to allow them to verify the data and informed that if they did not respond, the initial figures collected by Vogue Business would be used. Sizing ranges were determined based on typical sample sizes for straight sizing and established definitions for mid and plus. They're given an opportunity to kind of like, and this report has been going on for some time now, right? So they know that this data is going to come out. They know what the conversation is going to be. And again, they don't care, right? And plus size looks increased from 0.5% to 1% this season. Straight size looks increased from 96.7% last season to 97.5% this season. And even though these numbers moved slightly, it's still a big difference. It's still a big difference. So now we've trimmed down the fat on the mid size, right? Because it is what it is. But then we're increasing the plus size just a teeny bit, but we're also increasing the straight sizes. So in actuality, you really aren't seeing the increase in plus because there's also an increase in straight. And then you have the variable of, oh, what if these designers don't give us this data, right? In Milan, just 4 brands included non-straight size models. Just 4. The least we have seen since the start of Vogue Business Size Inclusivity Report. The percentage of looks that were straight size stayed exactly the same this season at 99.1%, while mid-size looks dropped from 0.9% to 0.7%, and plus size looks increased from zero Milan to 0.2%. In Paris, size inclusivity increased slightly compared to last season. And London Fashion Week remained the most size inclusive of the big 4. Size inclusivity improved slightly from 6.5% mid-size, 1.6% plus size, to 6.7% mid-size and 2.8% plus size. So shout out to London, even though these numbers are still really small, like 92% is still straight size. This is the problem. Like, inclusivity is not a trend. It's not a trend. It has to be something that a brand, a designer, a fashion house has within its DNA. It has to be innate. It has to be within what you think about every day. How can I make this so that everybody can enjoy it? How can I create this so that everybody has access to it? There are a number of factors that indicate why size inclusivity remains low on the runway. Firstly, there's been a cultural shift towards conservative values in the past 2 years. What we were seeing in the world politically, especially, is white supremacist ideas spreading rapidly, and that is tied to beauty standards too. In the past, brands have cast more diverse models with the wrong intentions to sell. But I also just want to put this out there to Christian Siriano. He is the one, right, that we always hear about. We always hear about Christian Siriano and the fact that he dresses the people who no one else will dress. He will have the representation on the runway when it comes to plus size bodies. But I kind of want to see him, go up a little bit. I want to see him evolve that. Because again, it's innate with him, right? Like, he's like, this is what I want to do. but I want to see him kind of, push the bar a little bit more. I would love to see a model with a visible belly on his runway. I would love to see, more plus size looks. I would love to see him go up to a 20%. It's about pushing, because all it takes is one. It only takes one person to shift things and to create a new standard in the industry, and to do it thoughtfully, right? And I think that Christian Siriano could be the one. So I absolutely would love to see more. I would love to see more fat bodies in haute couture. And, I'm going to bring this into the conversation. Kanye West went on this rant about fat woke bitches, and he's tired of seeing fat people on the runway. And let's make them matter. Let's make them matter. Christian, let's make them matter. All of y'all, because that's what they don't want to see. But we're fashion. Fat is fashion. Fat can be haute couture. Fat should be able to be in the south of France. Fat should be able to wear Versace. Fat should be able to wear Gucci. Fat should be able to wear everything that straight size wears. Well, there ain't no fat rich people. Come on now. This report isn't new. They've been doing this for a while. Inclusivity will continue to be a conversation until things shift. The numbers aren't shifting big enough. The numbers aren't moving big enough for us to continue and be like, well, this is good. No, it's not. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And there are people out there like, oh, you should just be grateful. No, I'm never going to be grateful for 0.9%. And you shouldn't either. Oh, but maybe I don't have the privilege to feel that way. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Ayo Fat Girl. I appreciate your love, your support, and the community. Make sure that you're following me on social media, Instagram at Ayo Fat Girl Podcast, as well as my personal page. It's Saucye, SAUCYE_. I'm also on TikTok at Saucye West. We have fun over there. I stream live on there, doing my DJ thing. So come and party with me, kick it. It's the vibe over there. So make sure you follow me on TikTok. And if you are so inclined, join the Dipset. Go to my Patreon and subscribe and be a part of the Dipset. I'm creating a safe space over there for us to just be with community and also do other little things I have in store. So I hope to see you over there. And remember to always be fat and free without apology. And I am Saucye. I'll see you later.